Hey everyone, today we're going to go check out a Strawbale house built by Tony Prendergast out here in Southwest Colorado. At the end of the video, we'll even talk about how much he spent building the entire thing. He's got a solar panel there, spring water that goes into his house. He's completely off-grid. Hope you guys enjoy.
My name's Tony Prendergast. I'm a rancher. We moved here in 1998 with my family. You know, we knew we wanted to build our own house. It was always a dream of mine to build a Strawbale earthen house. It took 12 years or so overall. There was some of those years where hardly anything got done. You know, life happened. I really believe that the spaces that we occupy are definitely a reflection of who we are, but also they shape who we are and our reality every day. A part of my design aesthetic, I guess, and something that was very important to me was to site the house, build the house, and have it finished so that it was just a part of nature and you know, very little distinction between nature and the house and by the surroundings here. It's a pretty natural pastoral landscape right here on this working ranch. You know, I just wanted the grasslands and the forest to come right up against the house. We've done a lot of thinning of the woods around here and trying to mitigate the fire hazard so it would slow down a wildfire if it ever, or when it comes through. It will someday. What I'll do is bring the cattle herd in here and use electric fence, temporary electric fence, and I'll graze the cattle or sometimes horses right up against the house to kind of keep this vegetation down. We'll actually be grazing this area in about maybe another week or two. Yeah, nature just comes right up against the house. The house I designed simply, and it morphed as we went. The materials needed to be as cheap and free as possible. So my rule was, is there any way I can salvage this from somewhere or find it around here? And the very last resort was to go down to the hardware store, the lumberyard. So this is the adobe floor. It has the coarser adobe below, and then this was a finished adobe material that has been oiled, and so it's very resistant to weathering. And then here's an interesting material. It's actually what I call straw, and it's just straw mixed with a clay slip. This is the material we use to pack around the vigas, the log timbers of the roof. And so, for instance, the Strawbale walls came up to this level right here, and then there would have been another Strawbale like here and another one here, but then there's all this space, and then behind this is the log viga. And so all this material here had to be formed in by hand, and it's this straw. And that's what we used to make these walls so smooth. And we used a lot of adobe and the straw wherever we needed to really fill out the gap. It seems super durable to me, and I cut this out of a window block with my chainsaw. Very friendly to remodel and to go back in and carve holes out, but extremely strong, and all that straw is an aggregate.
How did you decide to build Strawbale? Did you have experience before? What gave you the idea that that was the appropriate material?
I had been a builder for many years, so I had been to some Strawbale building workshops, and I had helped friends do Strawbale house raisings, and it just seemed like a great material. You know, it's readily available. We live in an agricultural area, so Strawbales came right from our local area, and the Strawbales lend themselves really well. All right, well, why don't you come take a tour and check out this house. I guess. This is all local wood, the beetle kill pine that we found. I did have a cabinet maker who put the cabinets together that was beyond my skill and tool set level. I like a big spacious kitchen, and these are concrete countertops which a local craftsman built for us. And I really love those. They stay cool and they're just very durable. I love this kitchen. It's nice and big and open, and has seen many feasts. This refrigerator is a Sunfrost. You can't even get them anymore, but it runs on the DC power. So it's got really thick insulation, and then the compressor's up on top. So anyway, I guess they're getting really hard to find. They've gotten really valuable. They're quite expensive, but extremely efficient. So I'm able to have full refrigerant, very seldom run out of refrigeration on a relatively small solar system. These here, like I harvested standing dead wood. And actually at the time, you know, God bless the Forest Service, they had a program for little tiny harvests, and I actually got a permit for it. So this was the kind of stuff I could get by hand, big ceiling logs. And this little wood stove is definitely a focal point of the house. You know, it's just a real workhorse. It's a beautiful little yodel stove. Usually I throw, you know, the hard, knotty stumps from the local pinyon and cedar. And it shuts down. I can have hot coals in the morning to start up the fire. And then behind it here, this is a massive piece of cob that I put in specifically to absorb the heat from the wood stove, and it's a big part of the mass of the house. And this does warm up, and boy, once it warms up, you really feel it stabilizing the temperature in here. So I love this piece of wall. You know, it's definitely tricky to lay the big center beams in and stuff. I had done quite a bit of log work before, built log homes, so I got real handy with a scribe and a chainsaw. I'm still very proud of the joinery up in there, and of course I'm not necessarily proud of the cobwebs, but they build up over time, and I'm not the world's best housekeeper. I get busy. This little bathroom, you go through this door, and there's a very simple humanure composting bucket toilet in there, and it's really one of the best systems I've ever used. I actually built this tub by hand. It's formed out of pumice rock. I was able to find a source of pumice not too far from here, and then shaped it with lime and cement, and freeformed the walls. Just made a built-in tub that just fits that space. We made this little loft for extra overflow guests can sleep up there. Good little bit of storage, but it definitely broke up this high ceiling and just made more intimate space down here. So I always really liked the loft.
What was the point of this space? What were you focusing on?
Just a little living room space, a nice little visiting nook. But we found that people often always sat in the kitchen and stuff, so it kind of morphed over time. This bedroom was a whole add-on afterthought. The original house was going to be much smaller for various reasons, and then my ex-wife at the time was like, why don't we just make this the main house? And so we added on this bedroom, and this is a wonderful space. It's very light. Behind this curtain is the, kind of messy in there, but that's all the solar system. So really a pretty tiny space, very consolidated. Batteries in the box there. It's a very simple system, a very simple little inverter. By the time we installed that, it was probably around 2007, I think. That system cost me $10,000 to install. I did have an electrician help me put it together and install it, a solar guy. Panels have gotten quite a bit cheaper, so I'm not sure what the cost of the system would come out now. I'm just under 1,000 watts, just under a kilowatt on that system. I find the system quite adequate. I wouldn't really need to make it bigger. I call it the Casa de Alma Sol, the house of the sun spirit, because it's a passive solar design. The electrical energy comes from the sun. The water is 100% solar hot water heat. So yeah, this is definitely a solar house of the sun. So this is for a little guest house. My son built this as a high school project, and it was something that went on for many years, but he finished it in his senior year of high school. This building never freezes, and you can be in the middle of December, January, no heat in here at all, and temperatures a little below 50 degrees because of the lack of insulation in the roof. But just some passive solar gain in that big window right there. My son, then he basically did all this plastering. He decided to oil the plaster, which makes the walls a little bit less breathable, but it made them very durable, and they're very smooth. And then this little truth window shows the straw bales right behind underneath the plaster there.
It's incredible, $3,000.
Yeah.
Plus labor, but
yeah. Well, the labor was fun. A lot of young people came and worked on this, Darkest Friends, and we had some little kids came in through plaster. There was some really great times building this little building. It was so simple. You can also see here, just this little tiny wood stove. This place just stays cozy with the wood stove going, and it's a very sweet place to sleep.
And how much would something like this cost?
The entire cost for the whole house, so that includes the driveway getting up here, water lines getting up here, the system, so the photovoltaic system, the solar hot water, the little more expensive appliances that work off those systems, those all have their expenses. So anyway, it was about $80,000 in that time frame. I guess this wraps up the interview. I am delighted to share the story of my house. I hope that it inspires other people and gives them some information to work on. I hope to not be deluged by calls, but I'm actually happy to answer questions. I really believe in this way of living and ranching and making a living on a natural landscape. I'm happy to answer questions or, talk about it more if you want to reach out. And yeah, this is our little corner of the world and our home and our ranch. So thanks for watching.
Where can people find you?
Our website is sunshinebeef.com, and this is the XK Bar Ranch.